Hello, it's me again, and I am back with another issue that I think we did not pay much attention to as young people. So, the issue of Mnangagwa's term extension, the 2030 agenda thing. It started as an economic plan and economic strategy for the country Zimbabwe, right? And now, they are not hijacking the plan because it's theirs. They are now calling for the extension of Mnangagwa's term to 2030. What are they saying? So they're saying ED has been doing so good. I need you to put that in quotes. ED has been doing so good for the country. He has a plan that he has been implementing since his assumption of power. And now that his term ends in 2028, when we are supposed to have elections, we do not want his rule to end, because this will disrupt the continuation of policy. This will disrupt the good work that the president has been doing. So we want to extend his term beyond that, right? So what they're saying is we do not want to give Mnangagwa another term, right? We don't want to give him another 5-year term. What we only want is to extend his term to 7 years instead of the 5 years that he's supposed to do. And then in 2028, I don't know if they challenged the election, but they're saying they want him to run and get the 2 years, and then he steps down from power or whatever the issue is, right? That's what they're saying. But here's what our constitution says, the Zimbabwean constitution, that we agree to, right? Our constitution prohibits a president from extending their term, right? And it stipulates that a president is only supposed to serve for for a maximum of 2 terms, 10 years, and that's the only term that a president is supposed to be in power, maximum of 10 years. And the constitution says that if there is a sort of amendment of whatever, or this kind of thing that they're trying to do, it must not, or it should not benefit the current sitting president, right? So it means even if they are trying to do this, whatever they want to do, Mnangagwa should not be the beneficiary of the amendment, because the sitting president, right, it sort of challenges the rule of law and things like that, right? So now it won't be fair for me to say it's ED who is calling for this, because he has set his record straight from the get-go. From the time that he assumed power, he kept on calling. Okay, please forgive me. I know this sounds so wrong even in my head to say. He kept on calling himself a constitutionalist. I respect actually that's not Nagaga's voice. Anyways, he kept on calling himself a constitutionalist and said that you will not disrespect the constitution, you abide by what the constitution dictates, and that when his term ends in 2028, he will be gone. If that means if he was re-elected, again, I don't know if he was re-elected or whatever, that's the story for another day. But he said that when his term comes to an end, and that's it for him, and he has been consistent with that all along. Even when Zanupf started calling for his term extension, we never heard him talk about wanting to extend his term. And also the rumblings within Zanupf right now, the power struggles that's happening, it's also signaling that probably the number one Zanupf man doesn't want to continue in power. So I just here to highlight that, to make sure that you also understand that the president himself, he has not come up to say, I want to extend my term. As the people, it's always the criminals that are surrounding the president. It's always the criminals surrounding the president. Those who have selfish interests, actually, they're in the same WhatsApp group, but for the sake of this educative video, it's always the criminals around him who are saying, let him continue, because if he is to continue reigning over Zimbabwe, they're able to continue doing what they are doing because they are protected by him. Same thing that happened under Mugabe. We now know those people that were protected by Mugabe, they are now in another countries where they are staying there because they are running away from whatever accountability that then comes or followed them when this new regime came in. Because again, we know how this game goes, right? So why should you care? Probably, I know, probably as a young person, you'd wonder, why should we care? I mean, this has been happening all along. Again, there's no rule of law in Zimbabwe. Nobody respects the constitution. Even if we come and make reference to the constitution, nobody respects it. Look at elections. Nobody respects those things. Why should we care? I know it really doesn't matter, right? But what they're doing is they're undermining the rule of law. That's number one. And they're setting precedents for such tomfoolery, right, to continue to happen in our country. So what they're doing, if they actually succeed in doing that, it means they've set a precedent of anyone who is in power, actually not anyone, when Zanupf is in power, they can change whatever law they want to change because they know who will do nothing about it. Tinongoramba takatarisa, takanyarara, which is very, very, very wrong. So, as young people, I know it's hard. For us, it is very difficult, right, to even want to care because the politicians in our country, the leaders in our country have created such a toxic political environment and space that left or leaves no room for any opposing voice. You know, people who are genuinely concerned about the development of our country, when they come up to speak up, they are shut down, they are arrested, they are stripped of whatever things that they have in their lives, or some, we have heard stories, they even die, they disappear. We have heard stories of people like Itai Zamara. Up to now, nobody knows where he is. So you see, some of those people who come up genuinely to call to hold those in power accountable, we know what happens to them, and this has been happening for a long time. But here is my call, here is what I am saying: we cannot afford not to care as young people, because this is our future. You understand? These people that we see, look at them, they are old, and we know they have sort of created these young versions of themselves who are also as corrupt and as done that. Hey, that's actually too harsh, but again, who are as corrupt, who are as unfocused, who think alike, and who are so poised to making sure that they continue with the same trend of plundering our national resources, of stealing from the coffers of government, of going around in big cars they don't know how to drive. But even if the situation is like that, we cannot afford not to care. We need to continue calling for them to stop what they are doing. We need to continue asking them to stop what they are doing. Let us show that we deny this thing that they are doing, that we do not want to be any part of this thing that they're doing, because we know they will come to us. I mean, the people they buzz. I was thinking this other day that what happens in our country, the people that we see at these rallies, right, the people we are that have been buzzed around, Zanupf does not create people. They are not God. They do not make people. These are our relatives. These are our friends, our families, who maybe wherever they are in the country, right? Be it Kumusha, be it whatever, Mageto, Kupi, whatever. We know sometimes they are being forcefully, but again, if those of us who are aware where true and real power lies, which is in the hands of the people, the masses, right, are to make sure that we are always taking the initiative to tell our relatives, to inform our grandparents, our uncles, our nephews, our nieces that what Zanupf is doing, all right, and those who are in Zanupf, what they are doing. If we inform them on how it is affecting our lives and worsening our living conditions, that it doesn't make sense that the only thing you get from your government is a 2-packet kg of maize seed and a 5 kg packet of fertilizer. That's the only thing you get for the whole year as inputs, and you are supposed to survive and to live on that. That it doesn't make sense. That there is more and there is better when you put people who are responsible and accountable in power. When those in power, you have power to let go of power. When those in power respect the laws that we have set as a country and come together to say, this is how we are going to do our things. This is the way that we are going to walk. This is the standard procedure of how government should be run and how government should operate, when we make it clear to them, even Zanupf will feel the heat, right? It might not be instant and happen today, but one thing I can assure you is this: when we start to have those conversations at our family levels, this is the holidays, it's Christmas, I'm wearing a Christmas sweater, at home, at our family functions, let us start to talk about these things. This is not a talk of Visa Zanupf or what. This is a talk about the bread and butter issues that concern us as a people. You understand? The real issues: education, health, jobs, salaries, cost of living, basic things that affect the basic man. You understand? The average man. So when we start to have these conversations at home, when we start to talk about these issues, they are going to feel it, because even at those rallies, Anagogo will start to ask important questions. Kuti now iwewe wauya nasi netukeji yako yembeu kuzotipa kuti tikuvotere okuzotipa kuti tiimbe slogan, zvinotibatsirei muupenyu hwedu? Zvinobatsirei vana vedu vari kufamba ivo 15-20 kilometers to and 15-20 kilometers back from school? Vanotanga kubvunza the right questions kuti zvinotibatsirei isusu kuomberera kuti ngatikwedzere temu yapresident kuti ari kugona, sezvinonzi patesa mutemo wetesera mapresident asingagoni. I liked what Professor Jonathan Moyo said, that term limits were put in place to stop the terms of good presidents, because bad presidents are removed by elections. You understand? So I don't want to make this video very long, but this is my call. Let us start to have these conversations, and I hope you have learned one or two things of what the Zanupf is trying to do. If I didn't do justice, please do justice in the comment section. Please share your thoughts, what you have learned and what you have get that they are trying to do. Let's learn together. Let's grow together. Thank you.